Ayman Khan here for Seconds Out with CEO of IBA Pro, Al Siesta, a man who's worn so many hats in boxing, Al Siesta. It's good to see you. It's been a long while since we've spoken in person, Al, and you've been making a lot of moves. How's life treating you?
Assalamu alaikum, my friend. Life's treating me fantastically well. You know, as I just said to you behind the scenes, God loves the trier, didn't he? Working, and getting somewhere finally. Brilliant.
Yeah, so you're CEO of the IBA Pro. Just let us know what it is and what the plans are for IBA.
I know what the plans are for IBA Pro. I'm not quite sure what the plans are for IBA because it's a completely independent governing body. But IBA Pro is thriving with test driving the shows, test driving the concept. It's a brilliant new platform. I'm inviting everyone to the platform, and we will expand a little bit later on it in this conversation, and I'll tell you all about it.
Okay, cool. So what about the roster of fighters? What are the events that you've got going forward? What are the immediate plans for IBA Pro?
The immediate plans for IBA to recruit really good talent, because we do have most of the Olympians, but most of them territorially from ex-Soviet Union countries or Latin America or Asia or Philippines, like places like Philippines and Indonesia and so on and so forth, India. And UK fighters, French fighters. We have Sofiane Humicha, who is the French fighter, is a dual Olympic silver medalist and a world champion. So we've got some good fighters. United States, United Kingdom, and Europe now, Western Europe, are very interested to participate in the concept because the media is working and they see what we do with the shows, and they kind of heard about the concept, which I will familiarize everyone shortly.
Yeah, I mean, go straight into it. Like, how does this differ to what's out there right now?
First of all, it's an independent platform, registered on BoxRec. You've probably seen it. This is the only place, the safe environment to try your powers, try your levels without affecting your professional record. So for example, say you're Callum Simpson or anybody, or you're in between the fights, or you're the fighter who suddenly career took not a dive, but for example, it's on stop or whatever it is. You can fight on IBA Pro against a very credible opponent. One very important notice about IBA Pro: only 50-50 fights, no mismatches, no takeovers. It's all very competitive for everyone, for the viewer, for the bookmakers, for the people who love boxing. You know, and for example, Callum Simpson can fight Ben Whittaker, for example, on this platform without affecting their standings with the WBA, WBC, and so on and so forth, and give a great immediate spectacle to the fans. Now, obviously, subject of negotiations and everything, and that comes across to people who you can get an Olympic champion who never turned pro yet, and he can fight against 15-0 professional. And I tell you, within my test drives, I already seen 1-0 Uzbek guy beat 20-0 unbeaten Russian champion. This is the beauty. This is an objective situation with professional boxing. If you really want to know what the truth is about the records, about the matchmaking, about the levels, can this guy beat that guy? This is your answer, IBA Pro.
Yeah, for as long as I've known you, Al, you've always been steadfast and wanted to make sure that the fights are 50-50 or as close to 50-50 as possible. Do you feel that with IBA Pro now, you've got that platform to make those fights that fans want to see?
Absolutely, it's like dream come true for me, and that's why I'm headlining the operation. And as a promoter, as a matchmaker, as a boxing aficionado and connoisseur, I love this is my game. I love it fully, and I can really advise people on many levels because, as you know, my journey been quite. I don't want to say extraordinary, but definitely not ordinary one. From the smelly dressing rooms, wrapping hands for fighters, to putting big world title fights, managing fighters, having world champions. And I think it's like I had my fair share of education. Now I can share something, and I now share the experience with the boxing industry, how it could be done. And I'm really delighted. Yes, 50-50 all the way.
So the proof will, of course, be in the pudding. So can you direct people to when your first show will be?
Oh, I'm into my 6th show now. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm continuing test driving. When are you asking me when the first show in United Kingdom, or next show in 10 days? Obviously, there's some unorthodox locations at the moment, such as Serbia, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Uzbekistan. I'm going to Tajikistan. I love that country. I'm going to Dushanbe. I've got big fights because Tajiks got really good fighters, as you know. Shavkat Rakimov, other guys. Like, for example, we've got the guy who's fighting for the WBA gold, you know. Bahadur Usmanov, his name, he's fighting. Then there's another guy, Davlat Baltaev, the bronze Olympic Paris heavyweight champion, is also there. But I'm delighted to see Michael King fighting again, a rematch against the Moldovan, very, very good Moldovan unbeaten prospect, who's I think 14 or 12 and 0, 14 and 0, Maxim Chernichuk. With the first fight, I think Michael King won, but we felt that the decision was unfair, split decision loss. So we're rematching now, and I put Michael King in the home corner because it's in Dushanbe, Tajikistan, and it's brilliant for Michael King. Great African fighter in Tajikistan, fighting a Moldovan fighter is brilliant. Listen, there's no territories for us. We are building media around IBA Pro. There's no religious or cultural backgrounds that could stood on the way, or you understand, any gender disputes, whatever. Like we know what we want. There's female fighters, there's male fighters, and they're fighting for their pride and they're showcasing their talent. And any talent across the world are welcome on our platform. Very important.
I'm glad to hear Michael's getting another opportunity. Michael, I know very well. He's linked up with the McGuigan gym as well, hasn't he? And he's been sparring with Conor Benn too. So that's a rematch he's wanted as well.
Sparring with Chris Eubank Jr.
Jr.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he's done very well, and Chris loves him and he wants him to come back to camp. It's a great prospect. You know me, I like my fighters. I don't care about their records. If you can fight, you can fight. I mean, being a matchmaker, being an insider in the game, I know how the record's built. So you cannot deceive me and tell me if you're good or not, especially coming from the country where I came from with a big boxing tradition. And in general, Eastern Europe and Soviet Union had massive heritage. And this cross between Olympic boxing and the professional boxing. Listen, we've got the education, we've got encyclopedical knowledge to early identify if you're going anywhere or not.
And a moment ago, you talked about the potential of the first UK show. When will that land?
Hopefully very soon. Hopefully very soon. I need to speak to the British Boxing Board of Control guys. I want to share with you this delighted concept. I want to speak to a few broadcasters, and we'll see what we can do. I already had great offers from the UK. The promoters, won't mention the names, reached out and said, Al, we can be your IBA Pro partners. Let's go.
Seen Sergey Kovalev out recently, of course. Sergey, it was billed as the last and final fight, but of course, when fighters receive offers, sometimes that last and final becomes just another fight on the record. Possibility that he returns to the ring too. Al, what do you know, and potentially against a UK fighter?
Sergey retired, but in the dressing room after the fight, he said to me, if there's a big fight that makes sense, I'll be ready. So let's see. There are some people he can fight. Vidal Riley's, Christian William Smith, Badu Jacks. Fantastic. Kovalev, he's done an incredible job with half a man. I never thought, I was dreading. I thought the last thing you want to do on IBA Pro show to make a match where Sergey Kovalev with his farewell failing, done amazingly well. Knocked the guy out. You've seen it. So stopped him. So Kovalev has some fire still, One of my greatest fighters. The funny, the surreal thing about this, his fight with Nathan Cleverly was probably a key point bringing me into boxing, and for me to deciding that I'm leaving show business and music and will be working in boxing. Promoting his farewell fight, it was surreal for me, unbelievable. God works mysterious ways, Yeah. Another thing, Albert Batargaziev, an Olympic champion and WBA interim super featherweight champion, with Lamont Roach fighting Gervonta Davis, probably will be elevated to a full champion. We're expecting that because the guy been waiting for a long time. I've just made the offer to Jazzy Dickens, and I'm waiting for them to come back to me. There are some very, very exciting fights. It doesn't have to be all Eastern European and stuff like that. We come to the UK and we bring British fighters and give them the opportunity to fight for the world titles. I'm talking even outside of IBA Pro titles, like WBA, WBO, and so on and so forth. Because our roster is very strong, and signing British talent is the next agenda for me.
I did happen upon your tweet on social media, and you said that what's next for Anthony Cacace, and you said, Albert Batargaziev, is that the fight you'd want to make, and what type of fight would that be?
Yeah, absolutely. No, Albert Batargaziev will probably fight someone who will be in conjunction with the WBA. We will speak to them and will tell us these guys. There's Zoltan Zaurbek is there. There's another Russian fighter, Elna Samedov. So there are some good top 10. We'll see. But if he's going to get elevated, he obviously will have to defend his mandatory immediately as a fully blown champion, like a regular champion. But for the future, there are some wonderful fights, man. For example, Zelfa Barrett is there, the Michael Conlan is there, Lee Wood is there, and they're all in the same weight category. It's wonderful. And we've got Safian Umiha, who is also super featherweight, lightweight. We've got plenty of things. We've got heavyweights, Molajonov. We've got beautiful names, Jalolov. All listen. I just spent time with Artur Biterbiev and Islam Makhachev the other day in Dubai. We were together, and they said, "Al, you're doing a great job. We love the concept. I think it really, really will bring everyone together. People can, with no hesitation, with no politics, just come and fight each other." I'm hoping if there's any obstacles there, they will be artificial, and they will be definitely coming not from me or from my people.
And I want to ask you to widen the sphere of boxing talk. You've always been, like I mentioned there, really strong in wanting to make 50-50 fights and even type of fights. There's a fight that's coming up that's got a lot of people talking, and that's Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios. What do you think about that fight off the back of Manny Pacquiao not being in the ring for a long time and getting on in age?
Manny is getting on a little bit, and he has been out of the ring for a long time. And I think I don't want to judge on it because commercial value, I can see the commercial value. He forever stays legend. But Barrios is a current champion, isn't he? Mm-hmm. He's a WBC champion. He's a competent fighter. He's young. So would I allow something like this? I don't know. I can't judge that, and I can't comment on this because I haven't experienced circumstance like this. Maybe if it would have been on IBA Pro, maybe I would have I would have said yes. Mm-hmm. But it's an interesting, and it's a living proof of concept like that. That something like this never would have been on the cards 5 years ago. Agree or not? Yeah. Now people more open to this kind of commercial cross media boxing, I call it. Catchy boxing. It's a catchy boxing. And that's what we're all trying to do. But at the end of the day, again, as long as it's 50-50, as long as I don't know, is it 50-50 for you, Barrios, against Manny Pacquiao?
Not judging by the latest.
There you go. That's your answer, correct? So let's leave it to read between the lines, yeah? I think it's maybe even a little bit dangerous for Manny. But if it's 50-50 and it's justifiable and the fighters are medically fit and they had great training camps, I can't see the obstructions.
You spoke about the last 5 years, and there's been a lot of change in the shifting in the sands in the boxing sphere with the introduction of Saudi Arabia, Riyadh season, TKO. What do you think that means for the incumbent UK promoters, yourself in general, as to what boxing is going to be like in the next 5 years?
Boxing is a fantastic place, and I said, and we're happy to work with Riyadh Season, we're happy to collaborate with TKO, happy to work with Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, Ben Shalom, you name it, everyone, Johnny Clarks, Steve Woods, no problem, anybody, if they have what we need in terms, if they're ready to meet the criteria of the partnership and it makes sense for everyone, why not? It doesn't matter. Boxing is an international sport. With the UK being an imperial country, with imperial traditions and everything, I can see the stereotypes are really, really breaking in comparison to 10 years ago when I've started, or 15 years ago when I came into boxing. It was very different. I love it. And I tell you what, UFC is to blame for it. UFC showed how it's done. And Dana White, genius, as he's shown what it needs to be. That's why it's not about where you're from. It's all about how good you are and what the media company where you're involved with can do with your profile to tell the story about your talent, So there you go. It's all blueprint. It's easy. You don't have to be a philosopher to describe that. It's all there.
Do you think Eddie Hearn, Ben Shalom, Frank Warren should be worried about their position right now as a...
Definitely not. They're in a very, very good place. Ben Shalom, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, brilliant place. Guys, let's work together. Let's do something interesting. IBA Pro is there. Fantastic. We could use some great fights. You want to see what your collateral look like? If you want to invest into some young talent and you're not sure how good they are, where are your platform? Let's have them against some Kazakhstani Olympian or Filipino Olympian or British. Even British good amateurs can fight in the pro game to see if they really transfer to this professional style or they need some more work done. Wonderful, no-brainer.
There was a huge fight a couple of weekends ago now that was in the form of Eubank Jr versus Conor Benn. A lot of talk about the potential of that being a rematch. Does that fit into your criteria of catchy boxing, that fight, or is that a fight you want to see again?
That fight could have been for the IBA Pro World Championship at middleweight. Fantastic fight, and I won't be critical by saying it wasn't the highest quality fight, but in terms of media, it was stupendous. And what a fight that was. It was a brilliant fight. It was a family legacy. I loved it. The stadium loved it. The atmosphere, it was unbelievable. I remember my boss kept texting me the pictures saying, we need something like this one day. And I said, we will get that. Yeah.
I spoke to John Fury and he talked about the potential that Fury versus AJ, a fight that in the UK, British fans have wanted for so many years. And he said the horse has bolted on that one. It's far too gone. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like we won't get Fury versus AJ in the UK?
I don't know. I can't see the reason why we can't have that fight. It's all about, listen, if AJ wants it and Fury wants it, they will definitely get that fight on. And and every single promoter, I believe, wants this fight as well. So I personally, because I've been a little bit detached from what's been going on in the UK for the last 3 months, I was really working very hard, but I can't see the reason why it can't take place. And at the end of the day, it's an interesting fight. I would watch it, would you?
Is it 50-50, Al?
Yes, it is 50-50.
Would you have said that a couple of years ago?
I would say that, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Olympic champion, the ex-world champion against the lineal champion, it's always 50-50. Always 50-50. And it's beautiful because Tyson Fury is not known for his power. He's known for his flair. And AJ is less threatened by that accidental bomb that can land on his chin. And therefore, AJ will come to that more confident, relying on his power. AJ is very competent operator when it comes to boxing skill as well. So that's why it's a genuine, true 50-50. You ask Eddie Hearn what he's going to tell you. He would back AJ. You ask Frank Warren would back Tyson Fury. 50-50? There you go.
Last point I want to discuss before I let you have the final word on things is Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois too, and I'll offer you the same question. Is that fight a 50-50 off the back of Dubois getting more confidence? Do you feel that he can turn that defeat into a victory the second time round?
Yeah, that fight is 70-30 to Alexander Usyk for me, because Alexander Usyk is a different specimen, and Daniel still, as much as a great fighter he is, and the way he nullified AJ in the ring, I'm still not convinced about how good Daniel actually is, because he's a very good heavyweight, but is he so good that beating Alexander Usyk? I don't know. I fancy Usyk doing a job again, and I hope I'm proven wrong, and then I will recognize the genuine, solid talent of Daniel Dubois.
Al, been an interesting and insightful conversation. I'll just leave the last word with you. Whatever you want to say about your venture into IBA Pro as the CEO, what can we expect? What is the final word you'd like to leave on?
Expect transparency, honesty, and excitement.
A signpost, where can we find any of the information for IBA Pro?
Everything is being in works, because it's like last minute for me. I started from the 1st of February, and from 1st of February, I've done 4 shows in 2 weeks. I've done one with Kovalov on the 18th of April, then I've done another in Ufa 25th of April, a week later, then Serbia 27th of April, 2 days later, and then Brest in Belarus near the Polish border on the 2nd of May. Crazy. Listen, extremely tired, but very satisfied. Websites are coming, all the media being done right now. We're working on it. The fighters talking to fighters getting signed, speaking to the Olympic people and all that stuff. Very excited. Very soon, be patient. It's coming.
Amazing, man. Al, thank you so much for speaking to Seconds Out. Looking forward to seeing what's next for IBA Pro. Thank you so much. Man.